Welcome to Cards Unboxed. Today, we finally get to the last of the Black Legacy collection. I want to thank one of the commenters, Tex and Lai, who reminded me that I hadn't completed this series yet. So we're finally getting around to the Black Ghost comparisons, starting with the Black Ghost Legacy Edition V1. These are printed by USPCC, using the performance coating, and designed and created by Ellusionist. Just as with the Shadow Masters and the Black Tiger Legacy editions in this collection, the V1 Black Ghost Legacy Edition has an incredibly premium matte tuck case with multi-level embossing and black and white foil touches throughout. The back of the tuck has an updated look, but that isn't the back design of the cards that you see inside. I do like though how the embossing catches the light. One side of the deck says performance coating and made in the USA, and the other side says the Ellusionist Playing Card Company, all debossed and foiled. The bottom of the deck has typical ag copy, but also foiled and debossed. Comes with a custom silver foil seal with BG for Black Ghost, and the top has the poker and rider back text. Also, on the tuck flap, just like the other Legacy Edition V1s, you have this white foiled definition of the word Legacy, and then you also have the pressed Ellusionist logos on the side flaps. Moving over to the V2 Legacy Edition Black Ghost, the overall design is identical to the V1s, but just like with all the other V2s you've seen so far, the tuck is stripped back of the foils and the multi-level embossing, and the matte finish is switched to the satin finish. The text on the sides is the same, but the satin finish does show off the outline design around the text a little bit better than the V1s did. The bottom of the deck has the inclusion of a barcode because they're sold separately, whereas the V1s are only sold as part of this Legacy collection. That custom silver foil seal's gone, and we now have a black USPCC standard seal instead. We still get the same design work on the tuck flap and the side flaps, but again we lose that foil and embossing. Regardless of the less premium tuck, the cards inside are largely identical. The only discernible difference is on this ad card here, where there's a logo at the top and bottom that are barely visible on the V1 print, but the V2 print you can clearly see you have an Ellusionist logo at the top and you have the Black Ghost information at the bottom. The V1 and V2 both come with this new double backer, displaying the redesigned backs with that narrower border. All the rest of the V1 and V2 cards are pretty much the same, so let's switch to the original Black Ghost to see the differences. Well, in this case the second edition of the original designs. The tuck is a satin finish with an older version of the spade pip and the fading bicycle logo. On the back, you can see the original back designs with that thicker border that blends into the white back design. This is part of my existing and used collection, apologies for the additional word that you can see on the tuck case here. This particular deck has the UV500 airflow finish and made in USA on one side, and the other side has the old Ohio USPCC factory address on it. The bottom has virtually no ag copy, but it does have a card reveal hidden in the barcode. The top has poker text and another card reveal on there as well. This deck contains a gaff card, which is a white-faced 3 of clubs, but with the proper Black Ghost back design. Comparing the Jokers now, the Legacy editions on the left and the originals on the right, you can see there's not much in the way of change. They both have that Jack of Spades colour change reveal. The aces on the Legacy edition on the surface look unchanged apart from the updated Ace of Spades. Here are the spades side by side with the older design on the right. Looking at the hearts, you can see that central heart pip is slightly elongated on the newer model, and the smaller pips in the corners. The clubs look almost identical, but those corner pips are a little bit smaller. The diamonds also have the smaller pips, but that central pip has straighter edges rather than the slightly more curved on the older design. The number cards are obviously much more noticeably changed. The Legacy Edition pips are shrunk and compressed into the centre, whereas the old deck pips take up the whole card like a typical rider back would. The courts are completely redesigned too, with the inner pips now being coloured rather than white, and the artwork is more outlined and less filled, and slightly smaller overall. Now we get to the back designs. The Legacy on the left and the originals on the right. Next to each other you can see the newer Legacies have a much broader look to them and tiny borders, whereas that thick faded border now looks a little outdated. When you spread them, the newer thin border definitely looks better and shows a lot more of the design. It's the same story when you compare the fans. The thicker borders in fact make the cards look a little blank. I think the takeaway here is the black ghosts looked great back in the day, and the fuller number faces are preferable to me, but the newer backs, courts and ace of spades all seem to be an improvement, and as long as you get your hands on the nice V1 tuck rather than the stripped back V2 tuck, the Legacy Black Ghosts are the winner. Do you agree? Leave a comment and let me know, and I'd appreciate if you subscribe and like too, and don't forget to head over to our Instagram @cards_unboxed, where you'll find more pics of the Legacy decks.